How you doing, everyone? Welcome back. Well, this channel, as you know, it's called In My Head, and not everything in my head is political. I mean, I've always been a very political person, though, so I have a lot of those thoughts in my head. But now I'm thinking about, since the weather is nice, we can be outside, and yes, this is actually about being outside and yard work and all that. A couple of years ago, I planted some berry bushes, and I planted them right over there, right? And it's not a good spot for them. I didn't really think that one through very well, right? So the berry bushes that I've planted right over there, they're right along the, not like right alongside the road, because we're down, we're kind of down below the road a little bit. It's a pretty steep, not really ditch, but you definitely wouldn't want to take, actually it's worse than a ditch, you wouldn't want to take your car off right there. Anyway, it's right down from there, right below where the road is, and there's other trees around, and, between branches falling when we get bad weather, and not getting the sunlight that they should probably have, and who knows what coming off of the road up there. Thinking about, I don't know, hopefully somebody will leave me some comments on this, somebody who knows a little bit more about gardening than I do. But what I want to know is, should I dig those berry bushes up? Blackberries and raspberries, by the way, is specifically what I have over there. Should I dig up my blackberries and my raspberries and move them down? Right over there is actually a better spot, because it's farther away from the road, and there's more sunlight there. There's not as many trees right there in that direct area. Plus, there are like some wild berries that are growing over there as well. So I'm trying to figure out, should I move them over there, or should I maybe go down here where there's not really a whole lot planted over there? It's away from most of the trees. I mean, there's still trees over here, but there's not as many over here. Or would I want to go more to the front yard? And I'm thinking I don't really want berries in my front yard. I don't know. So I'm actually trying to get some engagement here, because if you know about gardening, specifically planting berries, I am open to hear what your suggestions are. I mean, obviously they can't stay where they are. Some of the bushes have died. Some of them are fighting for dear life. They're trying real hard. And I think if I dig them up and move them, they might survive. Or, help me out here, would I be better off to just let them die where they are and plant new bushes somewhere else? Like, I'm thinking right down here would be probably the best area. But, right over here also wouldn't be so bad. My only concern with them being over here is that neighbors, they have small kids, which is fine, right? And those small kids, they're invited whenever they want to come play on our property, right? Because I don't know if you can see it behind me, but right back here, there's there's a playhouse, right, that a previous owner of our house had put in the yard. Now, my wife and I, we don't have small kids. You know, I am closer to being a grandfather than I am to being a father of small kids. You know, my kids are both in their 20s. And, you know, I don't have grandkids, but I could at any time, you know. I mean, it's just a thing that, you know, could happen, right? And, you know, so I want to leave that playhouse out there, right? I don't think you're seeing it. Let me, yep, you're not able to see it. Maybe if I move this a little bit here, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if I just take the camera off here a little bit and see what we can do there. Yeah, right there. It's kind of a neat little playhouse, you know, that neighbor kids, they come and play in it. They're invited to come play in there whenever they want, right? And like I said, I mean, if I get grandkids anytime soon, I don't foresee that happening, but it could happen. You know, grandkids will play out there whenever they come around. I don't really have anybody else that, you know, I don't have any other than the neighbors next door. I don't really have any other friends or family with small kids. Anyway, I got kind of sidetracked on that. I'm not worried about the kids, you know, getting into the berries, right? What I'm worried about them doing inadvertently, you know, because the kids, they don't know any better, is trampling and killing the berry bushes. Right? So, that's why I'm leaning more toward this direction instead of behind me here. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling about where to put the bushes, you know, because I had 6. I think I'm down to 3 now that are still alive, maybe 4. But again, I'm asking for comments on this. Should I dig up the bushes that I have and move them? Or would I be better off just leaving them where they are, let them die, and plant new berries? And they're going over here. I mean, that's pretty much a given. Because right over there is a terrible spot. Right down here is a better spot. They would thrive right here or even over here. But actually, I didn't even consider right there until, I may actually do more berries than I realized I was going to do. We'll see what happens. But at any rate, would I be better off to dig up the ones that I have and move them? Or would I be better off to just plant new berries and let those do whatever they're going to do? Like I said, raspberries and blackberries, that's what I've got. And as far as the raspberries, I think one of the plants that is still alive is golden raspberries. If you're not familiar with that, it's a regular raspberry, except it's yellow instead of red. So, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of a cool aesthetic, right? So yeah, again, I'm asking for some input on here. Like I said, the channel is called In My Head because it's not always a political thing. It's about whatever pops into here. And I'm thinking about berries. Raspberries and blackberries, which, if you know anything about raspberries and blackberries and berries in general, you know that they're not true berries. But that's another discussion for another time. Strawberries are also not berries. But oddly enough, bananas are, or something like that. I don't know. Bananas and watermelons are berries, but something like that. I don't know. I would have to go through that whole list again. So here I am, rambling on, possibly not making any sense. Hopefully I made some sense. I've got blackberries and raspberries that are not doing well where they are. They need to either be moved or just plant new ones. And again, I am asking for input from anybody who may know about that. So right down there, I have a comment section. Please take advantage of that. And let me know what you think. And I will probably take your advice because I'm going to assume that you know more about it than I do. Thanks for coming around again, and I'll catch you next time.